Tesla managed to finish in the green today, even as the rest of the market definitely did not. And crypto in particular finished down hard today. I'm not sure if you watched my conversation earlier today with Gary Black, but you should, of course. He's a seriously bright and wise guy. Wise is the important part. You might have missed a very important part of our conversation that I'd like to really hit on, though. Tesla's huge valuation, including its all-time high in the past, were at least partially based on the narrative of future growth. You know, on this channel, I talk a lot about Tesla being a story stock, a lot about the narrative aspect of Tesla. Well, in fact, people were expecting outlandish growth from Tesla at that point. The options were in at that point. The options on the future that, was not really there yet in terms of robo-taxis. Okay, so everybody believed they could turn their car into a robo-taxi. Everybody believed that it was going to be a very big deal, and people were buying the stock based on that option. Okay, very, very important to understand. Just like people were buying NVIDIA, or we've talked about, not NVIDIA, I'm sorry, Rivian. A lot of the same letters in there. A lot of people were buying Rivian based on the same kind of story, what it was going to be in the future, and all of these other BEVs that had nothing. They had drawings. They had cars that couldn't even act, that were, completely fraudulent, as we found out later. So people sometimes buy into the story and it goes crazy. Well, Gary said he was a believer in that FSD story. He didn't say that he bought high because of the story, but he did agree that that was part of the charm, part of the interest, part of the narrative. Of course, now we all believe that Elon believed it too. It just turned out to be way harder to do than anybody expected at the time, as has been shown by the fact that nobody else is doing it yet. So, as I mentioned a day or so ago, that idea is past history. Nobody today is buying Tesla stock based on robotaxi. Nobody's buying Tesla stock today based on the FSD revenues that are going to be coming in. Not when I say nobody, you know what I mean by that. That idea is gone. Even a lot of the bulls have given up on the FSD income and robotaxi bonanza idea. However, that only means that those invested now have a huge advantage. In a minute, I'm going to share a post from coming in from today from X, of course, from Dylan Loomis. And he's going to talk about this very same idea, the concept, in a slightly different way. I think you'll find that interesting as well. Well, I said to somebody the other day, you only believe the story or you don't. You got to have some belief. You got to have some faith in this kind of a stock. And a lot of people still do. Maybe you believe the robot story. Maybe you believe the robotaxi story. Maybe you believe the dojo story. Maybe you believe the insurance story. There's so many stories. But those who don't believe, they're not going to be continuing to buy right now necessarily until the stock is technically in a place where they can go, you know what, the upside is just too good to pass up. That would be a traditional somebody who's just not, a bull, somebody that's not engaged in the story. And those who have the most conviction, who are all in now, have not sold anything, and are maybe even continuing to buy right now, those are going to be the folks that are going to have the big win, because the big opportunity is still there. The huge, massive opportunity is still there. And that's one of the things I was talking about with Gary earlier today. That's why you need to go take a look at that, is that optionality is worth something. There's a value there. All right, this is Randy Kirk. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify. Why do you want to hit notify? Well, tomorrow I'm going to have, in the morning, I'm going to do a follow-up with that Gary Black story. He and I had a conversation prior to going on air. Actually, it was in a text or a DM back and forth on X that we never got to. And I want to share that with you tomorrow. It's really very valuable. A kind of a list that he had of the pros and cons of Tesla right now. What is his list of pros? What is his list of cons? And we'll talk about that tomorrow in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I'm doing a slightly different version of the valuation of the Optimus robot and, the future of that, how to potentially value it in a couple of different ways. I think you'll find that. And of course, in the late afternoon, as always on Saturday, we have the Tesla news when nobody else does. All right. And of course, you could join Patreon. That'd be wonderful. You could buy bottle openers. With Cybertruck bottle openers. They're still $25 for one and $45 for two. You know the story. All that is in the description below. Reporting from Teslarati. Tesla is in search, listen to this now, they're in search of a new senior manager who will focus on eliminating the need for automakers service. They will be in charge of a new program called Zero Service. This is so cool. This is so Tesla, so Elon Musk. At times, it says, at times, Tesla's fleet growth has greatly outpaced its ability to, their service growth, resulting in significant issues, owners that are unhappy, etc. In 21 and 22, the automaker made large investments in service, and combined with lower growth in vehicle deliveries in 23, they've had less of these issues recently. You don't see nearly as many people talking about it on X, etc. Now, there's always room for improvement, says the article, and CEO Elon Musk has mentioned on a few occasions that the best service is no service. If the cars don't need service in the first place, then the need for great service is not really required. Since Tesla doesn't use the traditional franchise dealership program, it ends up operating its own service, has a closed loop between manufacturing and service, gives them all kinds of opportunities to see exactly the things that are going wrong, and then to try to get those things eliminated, get them out of their hair, solve those so that they're just not seeing nearly as many people. They don't have the reason. You guys know I've been in the bike shop business my whole life, and I've written a couple of books, 4 or 5 books on bicycle retailing. And bicycle shops are the same way. They want you to have a flat tire. Well, maybe not want is not the right word, but they are hoping, they need you to come back in for maintenance. They need you to come back in, because there's something wrong with the bike, so that they can sell you more stuff and also keep the relationship going. So same idea, all right? But Tesla doesn't have that issue. So when you come into service, it doesn't really help them out that much. So it goes on to say, here's the job description. Tesla says that the candidate will work to identify and eliminate the reasons for the cars to need service. At Tesla, we believe that the best service is no service, looking for a highly motivated senior manager to join our service operations organization and lead the team responsible to identify and eliminate the need. Tesla continues in the job description. The role will be both a strategic and tactical. It will include designing solutions and managing individual campaigns to be executed with field teams and partners. The candidate will work closely with hardware and software engineering, service engineering, quality and service programs, and field teams to prioritize, launch, and track demand reduction and efficiency efforts. The job is located in Fremont, California. And then Tesla claims that most of its service tasks are now performed by its growing mobile services fleets anyway that come to the customer. We've had that. We had a broken window and we came right out and fixed it. As of last quarter, the automaker had 1,909 mobile service vehicles. Let that sink in. All right. I am sure that this effort has existed. This is continuing with Teslarati. He's saying I'm sure that this effort has existed as part of Tesla's existing quality and reliability teams, but it is now, sounds like Tesla is looking to build a new dedicated team just for it. This is something that could be scary for franchise dealers. Obviously, they're not going to be interested at all. Now, despite the program being called Zero Service, you can't completely eliminate service. Maybe. However, I have hoped that Tesla can greatly reduce the need for its vehicles to be serviced. That would be great. All right, here's the promised post from Dylan Loomis earlier today. Dylan says, the thing about Tesla FSD version 12.3 is not really about what we are seeing right now. The real excitement should be around what happens when it goes to wide release and Tesla can start gathering useful data and hopefully work through the problems that it still has quickly. Today, a bunch of people putting up videos, little problem here and there. Stuff that it shouldn't do, and also, of course, edge cases. Since at the core, it's proper video in through the net, it goes, things happen, new output next time. Anyway, that's how he's describing it. The potential rate of improvement is the real magic here. No, or at least effectively no manual code needs to be written. It's true Tesla has been compute constrained in the past, but Elon recently said the issue is being resolved quickly and will be resolved soon. As Dylan has said many times now, getting to watch V12 over the next 12 months should be really interesting and exciting. I'm not one to predict timelines, he says, but given how many people have written off Tesla figuring this out, it happens when most aren't expecting it. The Tesla fireworks will be even better. If it happens simultaneously with interest rates coming down, next gen entering production, Cybertruck at scale, semi in production, and Tesla's margins / EPS trending back up, well, let's just say I wouldn't want to miss that boat. It could be historic after a 4+ year consolidation and drawdown. Kind of what I was saying before. Also, it sounds like my 2026 analysis. And he didn't even include Optimus in there. That's not good. All right. He says he finalizes his story by saying, as I've been saying for weeks, if I had to guess, I think there's more pain ahead for Tesla. But to anyone who's off the ride right now, Godspeed for timing on your re-entry. And of course, Gary Black gave his timing for his reentry. He talked about the price point that would be exciting for him. Gonna have to go watch the video if you want to see what that is. I'll put the card up in a few minutes. All right, we've got the Market Watch. The consumer sentiment survey came out today, the Michigan one. That's the one that people watch the most. Market Watch says, here's the numbers. The reading from the survey of consumer sentiment fell slightly in early March from a 32-month high, indicating some uncertainty among Americans as to how the economy will perform in this presidential election year. The first of two readings on the consumer sentiment survey in March slipped to 76.5 from 76.9, the University of Michigan said Friday. While sentiment is close to a 2-year high, it's still well below the pre-pandemic peak and normal rate of around 100, 101. Key details. A gauge that measures what consumers think about the current state of the economy was unchanged at 79.4. Again, way below that earlier number. A measurement of expectations for the next 6 months dropped to 74.6 from 75.2. Looking ahead, after strong gains between November 2023 and January 2024, consumer reviews have stabilized into a holding pattern, said survey director Joanna Su. Consumers perceive few signals that the economy is currently either improving or deteriorating. She added, indeed, many are withholding judgment about the trajectory of the economy, particularly in the long term, pending the results of the November election. Okay, so they're going to wait until November. I see. I was up in the air. You remember I was 50-50 on whether we were going to skirt the recession or whether we're going to go into recession. Now I'm 65-35, so I haven't really gone all in on a prediction. But it sounds like the consumers out there, the average consumer out there is in that same boat of not being certain about how things are going to go. So what is the after hours price on Tesla even as we speak? We have got Tesla sitting at, in the after hours, by the way, up 33 more cents. So it's up $1.07 earlier today, up 33 cents. Now, again, the market, Dow Jones down 190, NASDAQ down 155, S&P down 33. All of the other magnificent seven, all six were down. And the Cathie Woods were mixed, mostly in the green, actually, but not by a lot. Pretty close range. Of course, as I mentioned, Bitcoin down big time the last couple of days, back down well into the 60s. I'm just telling you that I don't, because I don't pay that much attention to why or how, just kind of the directionality of how things are going. All right. Okay, here you go. That Gary Black talk. If you didn't watch it, you really need to. It was really good. I feel like we really understood each other. We really were able to get down to some brass tacks. And I think that you'll find value in that. So I'm going to put the card right up here. And then tomorrow, see you 3 times. Hopefully you'll join me all day tomorrow and join Patreon. That'd be great. Okay, that's it for now. It's been great talking to you.